Hello, thanks for joining Susanne and myself for the next Scrap the Sketch challenge. This is our sketch here. It's now covered by some phrase stickers, but anyhow, yeah, these are the supplies I'm planning on using this time. Since I have no kit available this month, I grabbed stuff from my stash. So, as I said, Susanne and we are doing this challenge, and we're doing on, it's not a regular base, but from time to time we're doing it if we have time, since we work and have other stuff we have to do besides scrapping. Okay, so what I'm doing here now is I need to mat my pictures, since I have cut, or it didn't print it with a white border. So I'm using this white cardstock once for matting my pictures, and also for giving my design paper a white border. So I'm trimming my design paper. This is as I showed you, from the Flourish collection, and it's a pretty nice dark yellow with some text in the back, so it peeks out here and there. And I'm going to mat this design paper on the white cardstock. So this is a very nice, neat tip and trick how to kind of get two uses out of one piece of cardstock. So matting your pictures if you need to, and then also using as a background. And if you have like a more flimsier paper, if it's a very thin one, then you can also increase the sturdiness of the layout by putting it on a piece of cardstock. So now I need to trim off the cardstock so it looks nice, and I'm doing it with my paper trimmer, but also need to use my scissors since I didn't do it right. It happens from time to time. So yeah, the two pictures are pictures of postcards I sent it out to people. I am a member of the post-crossing community. That means you send a postcard to a person, and this person gets randomly assigned to you, and then you will get a postcard back from another person. So not the person you have sent your postcard to, it's a totally different person from a different country. It's a really random assignment, which postcard goes where. So this kind of looks like tissue paper, but it's not really tissue paper, it's something different. So I got it in a Happy Mail from my friend Nancy, and it has a postal fee, so it fits very nicely to my post-crossing layout. And I'm using it to mat my pictures, or to give my pictures a layer. And then also I use a stripe of this kind of tissue paper for putting it across my layout. So it's the darker gray line in the middle of the layout, which goes from left to right. And since the pictures are pretty, I don't want to say busy in terms of colors, but they are, I mean, there's so much going on these pictures, right? I mean, every postcard is different, and I chose two different pictures with the same size. So I tried to give this layout a more lighter feel to it, and that's why I went with the kind of tissue paper. So it's not a heavy piece of cardstock, or yeah, and it's like almost it's a little see-through, and it doesn't has a bold color. So that's what I was going for with the background paper as well, with the design paper. So it kind of tones it down. So, and then this paper comes into the play. It's from Turn the Page collection from Pink Paisley with Paige Evans, and it has these, I call it paper airplanes. I don't know if it's the right English term. I hope so. So because this gives me a feeling of sending something away, and it's a fun touch to it. So I will fuzzy cut a few of these paper airplanes and use it as my embellishments. So here in the sketch you see there are these circles and the stars. So it's basically just telling you here you should choose something to embellish your layout. It can be circles, it can be stars, but it don't have to be. So I choose these airplanes, and then I had the feeling I need an extra layer behind my picture, what is a bit darker. So I choose this paper from the Lovely Day collection from Dear Lizzie, and it has also some text on it. So I choose everything what is kind of mainly black and whitish, also more white, but with text. So it is a bit. I didn't intend to be very cohesive with my theme for the layers behind the pictures, but it turned out. And so now I'm distressing my edges. I thought, sometimes the postcards also get a bit, um, or it's not, so nobody takes really care of your post, right? I mean, it's like they throw it in the bags and in a container and then it goes this way. So it can happen that there is something happens to a postcard, and I thought with distressing the edges of the layer behind the picture, it will give that feel. So now I'm starting attaching the stuff to my layout. So first I attach this stripe of almost tissue paper, and I like it that it says postal telegraph. You will not see the whole word in the end, but parts of it. So that's fine for me. And then I will stick down my pictures. So the pictures in the sketch said you can choose like a bigger and a smaller picture, 4x4 and a 2x2. But I didn't want to give any of these pictures more emphasis, so more importance to it, because both pictures have the same value to me. And yeah, postcrossing is a really fun thing. If you like getting mail and sending mail, this is totally something you should try if you don't already do it. So, and since I went to my stash, I already have the title in place, and I choose again white alphabet figures so it's get this light feeling to it. And then I decided to use foam tape for the airplanes so it gets more dimension. And instead of putting the foam tape in behind the airplane and then put it down on the layout, I placed the piece of foam tape on the layout and then attach the airplane to it, so I had more control where I want to place it. And on this paper behind each airplane there was a line, and I wanted to have this line as well, but I didn't want to draw it, so I decided to hand stitch. So I used some thread, and it's a pretty thin or fine thread, so I took a double to get more impact on the layout. And this took the most time, and you don't have to watch me stitching everything. So thanks to adding it my video, I will just start stitching and then everything will be done, and you can see the stitching very soon. I like hand stitching, it relaxes me and I can watch something next to it. So it's a very relaxing thing I like to do in the evening when I decide to scrapbook. And it gives a nice touch. So here it's done. So I hope you can see it. It's not very like in your face, the stitching. It's very subtle. So, and then there are these white stripes in the sketch. And first I was thinking placing my layout, my journaling there, but it would have been too little space for my writing, so I decided to use some phrase stickers from Tim Holtz. And these blue little pieces of paper are little labels I printed from a template which I found online on Pinterest, and it says airmail. And sometimes I use this if the postcard is a bit more tiny or the stamps are a bit bigger and I would lose a lot of space by placing the sticker, the airmail sticker I get from my post office. So I printed these out, and then I have them if I just want to have it a smaller label, so to say. And I like them. So I thought it would be a nice touch again to include in my layout, because this is all about post-crossing. And what I like about post-crossing and that it's fun, and that I like choosing a postcard for every person I write one to, because people can give their preferences on what kind of postcard they like to receive. And I like this because then I know what they would like to receive, and if I have such a postcard in my stash, in my postcard stash, I can choose such a postcard for them, and they will be happy when they receive my postcard. So, and yeah, I have a little postcard collection, and it's always fun looking at it. So now I decided on having 3 of these stickers on my layout. I like odd numbers, so like 3, 5, 7, right? It gives a nice, um, it balances kind of. I mean, two would be fine as well, and I think two would have looked fine anyway, but maybe I also couldn't decide on if I like the one better than the other, and one was a bit shorter. So, but I wanted to include it, and then I said, okay, let's do 3. It's nice. So, and in the end, I decided to choose some enamel dots according to the colors of the airplanes and place them here and there on my layout. I like enamel dots; they give it a nice feel. If I don't want to use some spray inks to include some splatters or nice little touches, I really prefer enamel dots. But it has to find. Sometimes it's really hard to find the right color and combination. Yeah. So, but since I have them, I really like using them. So that basically it is with the layout. I also included some journaling, and there isn't much space where I can put a journaling now, but exactly behind or below the title there is enough space, and I use just a normal gel pen in black to write my journaling, so it's not very thick pen, it's a very thin one, and I like it. And I'm just writing what I like about postcrossing and so on. So in the end, there will be some pictures I will also include, so you have a closer look on parts of the layout. So here's just my journaling, and now I slow it a bit down for you. You can see it a bit slower. The sketch from Creative Scrappers, I will link their Instagram in the box below, and as well Schnuller's information. So Susanne, I hope you hop over to Susanne's channel to watch her layout and how she interpreted. I'm very excited to see hers, and I hope you liked it. And if you do, maybe you leave some comments down below, and see you next time. Bye bye.